Okay. Let's switch this. Okay, I think that works. So we have threat tokens, health, traps, whatever this is. Okay. Today we're going to try doing Chapter 1 solo in Dungeon Legends. This is my first time playing, so I may scuff up some rules, but we're going to figure it out as we go. Okay, let's move this stuff out of here so I can show you the box. So we are doing Chapter 1, and we are playing the Knight and the Sorceress. When you play solo in this game, it does require you to still pick 2 characters, but every character has their own starting deck of 10 cards. The way it does solo is you actually take both the 10 cards of each of the classes you pick, and then you pick 10 out of the 20 cards to create your own kind of like custom deck, which I think is kind of cool. I believe the objective for Chapter 1 is I have to try to get rid of all of the fire tokens that are on the board. So we start with 7 because we are doing normal difficulty. So you got these little guys. And you could either reduce it to 6 for easy or 8 for hard. So we'll start with normal just because we don't know what we're doing yet. But I actually don't know where we start on the board. I don't think it actually said that, or I overlooked it. It's probably at the castle entrance, if I had to guess. Oh, let me make sure I have my phone, in case you're chatting with me, babe. Okay, so number 8. First player puts their hero standee on space 6. In clockwise order, the following players put their hero standees on spaces 5, 4, 3. Okay. Yes, I did just miss that part. So we'll put him in that starting position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so there's 7. So you start at 6. I'm trying to think of a good spot to put my phone, because I do want to drink my water. But yeah, I guess we're going to be moving across this board. We have different locations that we can visit, and then there's going to be different enemies that are going to be spawning at the top. Enemies are always going to spawn on the leftmost side first. If they ever make it, or anytime another monster comes up, if there's ever a monster in the leftmost spot, it shifts over 1, and then that new monster takes that position. And that keeps happening as they kind of move along if we don't kill them in time. If they ever have to get placed out and all 5 of these slots are filled, including the 6th one over here where there's a guy starting, and he would have to technically move off of the board. This is him entering the castle, and you immediately lose the game. If anybody ever fully dies, you also immediately lose the game. So I believe you have 2 times where you get interrupted, and then the 3rd time you're dead. So you can get knocked down twice. Over here we also have our little fairy market. So in the fairy market you can acquire fairies through different means. Some of these cards allow you to get it, and when you defeat enemies, I believe you can either get a piece of loot, which is a card you get to add to your deck, or you get to pick a fairy from here. And these, I believe, are one-time use. So you can use a fairy on your turn, take the effect that it has on the fairy icon, and then that token gets used and goes in the discard pile, and then eventually comes back out. Let's see. Outside of that, this is kind of like our dungeon deck, which there are 3 more cards I have to add that I found. At the end of every turn, we draw 1, and it can either be a monster or it can be an event card. Monsters come out the way I said earlier, And then event cards are going to have some kind of an immediate effect that will read off, do whatever it says, and then it gets discarded. Outside of that, the other thing we have is locations. So let's go ahead and shuffle that a little bit. Okay, I can do that. Can you hear me okay? Because I'm just using the Rode mic on top of the camera. There's going to be a lot of kind of like tweaking and adjusting since this is the first time streaming like this. Let's do... You know what? Well, first of all, I don't need to hear that, which will prevent any kind of echo. But let me know if that is low enough. That might be like super low. Oh, looks like that. Oh, it's like buffering. Oh, okay, that's back. Now you hear nothing. Yeah, it was already really low. So I barely moved it. I wonder if you were hearing the echo. How about that? Nothing. Well, yeah, I think you were just hearing it from the mic then previously. So it should be really, really low. Let me turn it up a little bit. We'll just do that one more time and then we'll just let it go for now. We can tweak that as we need to. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so generally speaking, our starting deck here, we get to shuffle this. We draw 5 cards at the end of each of our turns. So any of the cards that I draw, because I'm playing solo with 2 characters, I actually have the choice of choosing who I want to use the cards on, and I can do cards on both characters in the same turn. So typically you would only be able to be using the cards on one character if you're just playing one person alone, but in this scenario I can kind of mix and match my actions with my characters, or just use it all on one character if I choose to. Any cards you do not use in your turn at the end of the turn get discarded. You do not keep anything, but if I do get any of the advance items, I get to put it on top of my deck immediately before I draw. So I do get to take advantage of that. Let's see. The only other thing is the locations here. They have actions and that are all written out on the cards, and I can explain those as I go. You can only use a single location once a turn. So I could use multiple locations, but I could only use this one time in my turn. Let's see. And that's per character, so I guess I technically could use both. Let's see. The fire is going to have cards that come out that are going to help it spread the different locations. If I ever end my turn next to a location that has fire in it, I take a point of damage at the end of my turn. But outside of that, just to do like a quick rundown of the locations, the very first one is Fairy Sanctuary. This one allows you to use 3 spirit, which is kind of like our mana, to draw a card. Or I can discard a card and spend 1 spirit to grab one of the 2 fairies here, hence the name Fairy Sanctuary. Second location is Master of Traps. I can spend 2 to 5 spirit to spawn a trap, and there's different traps with different costs here. So depending on how much spirit I use determines the strength of the trap. But there's 2 trap locations on the board here. I get to put it in one of these. So if a monster ever gets bumped over from spot 4 to 5, the trap actually triggers and does that much damage to it. So it's kind of a way to slow the monsters down or eliminate them before they get too far over. Let's see, anything else? The third location just says if you ever fill one of your bucket tokens, and that's the filled side there, you can spend that bucket, flip it back over to the use side to remove one of the fire tokens in the location. So we're going to be able to do that if the fire is in any of them, but we can especially do it at this kind of starting spot where there's going to be 7 stacks. We just don't want to end our turn next to it, otherwise we'll take a point of damage. This fourth slot is called Underground Lake. I can spend 2 movement to flip over my water and fill up my bucket. The fifth slot, I can spend 3 spirit to fill up my bucket. And then the 6th slot, I can spend 2 spirit to roll the die, and then depending on what I roll, determines how much range damage I get to do. So it says spend 2 to target a monster at a range of 1 through 5, roll the die, and apply 0, 1, or 2 damage based on what I roll. Okay. Oh, so if you roll a 1, you just get nothing. But if you roll 4, 5, or 6, you do 2 damage 1 to 5 spots away, which is actually super, super good. And let me know if you can still hear me, babe. I just want to make sure it is working. So we do have our traps here. Let's see. And I think that's it for the most part. I did say earlier we do draw one of these at the end of every turn. And that's how monsters are going to continue to pour in. And in this very last slot, you can spend 3 spirit to get rid of a threat token. Let's see, where are those guys? These guys are threat tokens. I am not entirely sure what they all do yet. So as those come out, we will slide those above the different monster cards that are coming out. So I'm guessing it buffs them in some way. Yep, sounds good. Awesome. Thank you. There's lots of other effects that'll come out and creatures that'll spawn. We will figure those out as we go. The only last thing that you kind of get to customize on your board here is you get to pick these skill bars, and there's a whole stack of them. You move your little marker here into the slot when you use those abilities, and you have to use them left to right. The knight here, I have the option to choose from any of the 4 that are here. So I can do a ranged attack for 1 damage, I can do a melee attack, I can gain a spirit, or I can gain a health. The sorceress has 3 that I have to do in order. I do not get to pick. So the very first one I activate, it gives me 2 spirit. The third one gives me 3 movement, and then the second one, and then the third one gives me a range of 1 to 5, doing 2 range damage. So those, they're very powerful. They don't require a card, but you only get to do those 1 time for each of these little notches for the chapter, and then you're done. Let's see. The bottom of the monster cards also have a little reward marker. So generally speaking, it seems to be that they give you a treasure item card, or you gain a spirit. So that lets you pick one of these guys, or you gain one of the 3 spirits, or fairies rather. You gain one of the 3 fairies that are in the fairy market. And I think that is it. I'm sure we will make mistakes along the way. Like I said, it's my first time playing it, so there's going to be some rule checking, confirming that I'm doing the actions correctly, and hoping I don't screw it up too bad. So there's a lot of iconography on the fairy tokens that are unique, so we'll just have to read those as we go. So I will start my turn. And it does look like we got a little bit of movement. So we don't have enough spirit to flip our bucket over. We do have a monster next to the knight. So just to kind of knock him out, I think we're going to do our double sword action, which does 2 damage, and then this one is a sword or shield. And I believe the way shield works is it allows you to block damage. I don't think there's a token for shields, so I don't know if that's reactionary. So like I have to have it in my hand kind of thing. But we will double check that. But yeah, we are going to use... Okay, cancel 1 point of damage done to you by a monster. I guess we'll see... Oh, okay, so they do have symbols above their head. So that guy has like a sword and then teeth. Looks like a bent sword and then some teeth above. So, let's see. Icons on fairy tokens. Icons on advanced item cards. Icons on monster. This monster does 1 damage to the hero who attacks it by sword. Okay, so when you attack the monster, they attack back if they have that icon. That's where the shield would come into play. And then the sword, the monster cancels 1 damage when a hero attacks it by sword. Okay. When a hero attacks this monster, the hero loses 1 toughness. There's no way to cancel this effect. Okay, so when he attacks me, I do have the opportunity to block. And we do have some blocks here. So we will do the triple sword. We need 1 more sword in order to kill it, because he does block 1. You know what? Let's just gain a spirit first. Let's see if we get lucky here. So we're gonna gain a spirit on the knight, and he is at the ballista location. So we're gonna roll a die. If I can roll a 4, 5, or 6, I can do 2 damage to him. Okay, so I rolled a 3. So I do 1 damage, and he only blocks melee attacks. And he only attacks back if you attack with a melee attack. So now we will do the triple sword, because he's going to block 1 of them to do the last 2 points of damage. And then we will use this shield icon in order to block the 1 point of damage he was going to do back to me. So we got triple swords, we got a spirit, and then we got a shield. So those cards are all used. Take that off. I do like how the locations are not like a one-time use thing. And I guess this will be a discard pile over here. And then we have 1 card left, which could give us a movement. Do we want to move? Yeah, let's move our sorceress over 1 notch. I'm curious if I can zoom in on the board a little bit more. I just don't know how bad the clarity is going to be. Let me see if I can zoom in on the top camera and see if it is still somewhat clear. Now the question is, can I move it up-ish? I know there's a way to do it. I am just drawing a blank. Alright. You're zooming in on your phone. I forget how to adjust it upwards after I zoom. but I'll mess with that. I'll mess with that later. Okay. So we got, that's our 5 cards that we used. And then we did defeat the monster. So we can either get an item or gain a spirit. We're definitely going to go for an item here. Whoa, some of these are super good. Okay. So this card lets us do a range attack, a sword attack, and another range attack. So it has a range and it has an arrow pointing left. So I'm guessing I can attack something that is 1 space away from my left and then 1 space away from my right. And then these cards always have, the advanced cards always have a second option where if you use a spirit, it pretty much just makes the effect better. So that just adds an extra sword attack. And that goes on top of my deck. And then a new one comes out. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. Range attack 1 at range 1 twice. And attack sword for 1 damage. Or spend a dust. Oh, I'm sorry, it's called dust. I've been calling it spirit. To range attack 1 at range 1 twice. So it just means at range 1. It's odd that it's, what is pointing left and right, but it doesn't indicate on here that you have to attack either left or right. It just says do a range attack 1 damage at range 1 twice. That is a bit odd. The hollow it really is. Let's see. Oh, that's how you have it zoomed in. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'll definitely have to tweak and mess with that, but it's pretty good for now. Okay, so now, end of my turn, I do draw 5. So we're going to have 1 card left over since we just got a new one, and we did spend that 2 dust for the ballista, so I'm going to get rid of those. Okay, so now we just drew Phantom. He also attacks for 1 damage back if he gets hit by a melee attack, and then he blocks 1 melee. His reward is he gives you a fairy token. The art's really cool. So he will go to the leftmost slot, and he has an HP of 4. Okay. Let's see what we have here. So we have 1 ranged attack. See, and that one doesn't have an arrow on it. That makes me even more suspicious. We got a sword or spirit, movement or dust. I'm gonna keep calling it spirit. I have a healing potion. Ooh, you're gonna like this one, babe. It has a movement as well, and then I believe this little helmet icon means you can use it on other players. So this would be useful if you were playing with other people controlling their own characters, but because I'm playing both and I can use the card for either or, it's kind of irrelevant. It's just a heal or a movement. And then I have that really strong attack. So I do have a fairy here, and his use the effect of 1 played card twice. Also paying any relevant cost twice. That is extremely good. Wow. So I could double my new shiny card. That's insane. Okay. So we might be able to do something here. Unfortunately, I would have to do both my movements so that this has a range of 1. So I'm guessing range is just 1 space away, where range attack 1 damage at range of 1. I'm guessing this one explicitly says you can hit a monster at range of 1 through 5. Okay, so the bow indicates the amount of times you hit. There's multiple bows if you can hit multiple times. The number indicates the range. Got it. That makes sense. The arrow, I still don't understand fully. So, we're going to use these 2 cards to do 2 movement. And then we are going to use this guy to gain a dust on my sorceress. So we're at 2 dust. And that would allow me to use my swords, but that's kind of a waste. I can get them weak at least. So we will use our fancy new card to do 2 ranged attacks. We're not going to do the melee. So we do get to hit him for 2, and he does not block it. And then we will use our last, looks like a little magic missile, to do 1 more range attack. So he's down to 1 HP. We don't get the kill. And I could use this and double on that, but I think that's kind of a waste right now. I'm sure there's going to be a point where there's a lot more monsters out. So we're going to draw that one. Shuffle these guys up. And we'll draw 4 more. And then we'll see what the new boss deck card is. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's flip this guy over. Okay, so we got Fire Snake. This is one of the chapter-specific monsters. So, start a fire at the ballista. So, from what I read, is the Fire Snake is a creature that is going to, if he ever reaches his marked destination, he's going to light it on fire. So, currently, he is very, very far from the ballista, which is on the other side of the map. But if he makes it all the way down to the very last slot, he would set that on fire, making another location that we have to put out in order to win. So I think we're okay. I don't think he's going to make it, because he's as far as could be, which is great. But he does have the double bite mark, so he's going to attack back twice, which is not cool. Let me make sure. This monster does 1 damage to a hero who attacks it by sword. Yeah, so he would do 2 damage back. Block, block, double sword. We got a lot of movement. We do have a heal. I do like that you get heals pretty early on, so I guess I shouldn't be super afraid of taking some damage. I do need to start using movement to get my water going here, though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a movement here to move over 1. And then I'm going to attack him with 2 swords. He doesn't have any blocks, which is good. And then I'm going to use these cards for 2 shields to negate the damage he's going to do back to me. So he is down to 1 HP as well. And then we have one more movement and heal. We're going to move 1 space over on that guy. So that's going to be end of that turn. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's flip up a new card. Okay, we got another monster. So these guys are going to slide over. I can see how this gets a little hectic pretty quickly if you can't take care of them right away, while you're also trying to do the objective. So he is another guy that's going to attack back twice. He does not block damage. His reward is you get an item or you get a dust. Oh boy. Okay, so we did get our fancy card again, which is great. We don't have enough blocks to stop the damage we would receive. I could move over, punch him range him, range him. The double punch would be useless here. And we do have a movement. We also have a heal. Okay. We're probably going to just use this to get a dust. Oh, we do have another range attack as well. Okay. So we're going to use this card here to move over 1. Let's see. Ooh, that gives you triple dust. And then that has like a little eyeball. Reveal the top 2 cards of the game deck, then put them back on top in either order. Okay, so you can control what's going to be coming out a little bit. That's cool. Alright, so we moved over 1. I'm going to just do the normal one. I'm not going to do the dust cost one. So I'm going to attack this guy and hit him for 1, which will kill him. But he is going to hit me back, I believe. So I will block 1 of the damage, and I'm going to get hit for the other, so we lose a heart. And then I have 2 ranged attacks, so I will hit him for 1, which will also kill him. And we gain a fairy. Ooh, this looks like it swaps health with another player. Oh, swap the spaces of 2 monsters. That could actually be really good in this one. And then we got that guy. Search your deck or your discard pile and take 1 card from it into your hand, then shuffle the cards, deck, or discard pile that you searched. That's pretty powerful. And the last one, remove 1 threat token. So we don't have any threat tokens yet. I think I'm gonna grab this weird looking. Here, I'll show you the art on this one. It's pretty cool. It's like a lizard. It's like a gecko. Okay. And then we will use our other ranged attack on the Bloodsucker. I'm going to use that magic missile to do 1 more ranged attack, so he's at 2. And because I'm not using melee, he does not hit me. And then we'll use the last card to get another dust. So we are now at 3 dust. I like the way this plays so far. Very simple to understand, very quick. And the cards feel impactful right off the bat. Where I feel like a lot of deck builders, you have like those really dead feeling hands where you're just kind of waiting to get your deck to a point where you can actually do something. These don't feel completely useless. Alright, so we've got no fire removed yet. We do get a new fairy in the market. That one lets you or a partner get 3 dust, which is also great. Okay. And then we're gonna flip. We got a cave troll. Oh, so I wonder if I was did that one have a cross? Oh no, that one was a dust and a loot card. So I believe he defeated that. So I will give him a dust. Because this one actually has a slash here. So it looks like you either pick 2 fairies or you can get a loot card. So that first one was not a choice, so you actually just got both, which is awesome. Okay. He attacks back for 1 damage. So he's not as scary. What do we got here? I do want to start getting this objective knocked out. I think I'm going to wait to take that guy out with a range attack because I don't want to take 2 damage. Definitely does not seem worth it. I could use some movement. No, I won't have enough to do all of that. Let's see. Okay. Alright, so we will start with moving this character over. And then we're going to do double sword. He doesn't have a block, so he does take both damage tokens there. But he is going to swing back at me. So I will use the shield to block that. And I could heal here. Okay. Spend 3 to draw a card. That is totally not worth it. Okay, so we're going to use our heal on this card to get our health back here. And then we'll use this to get another dust. So we are now sitting at 4 dust. Ooh, should we do that? Use the effect of one played card twice. You know what? Why not? I feel like it's better to start using stuff now. So I'm going to use my fairy token there to double up on my sword. So I'm hitting him for 4, so that does kill him. And I can get 2 fairies or an item card. Oh man. Fairies are great, but they're one-time use. I wonder, I don't think when monsters are defeated they move left, so they just keep moving when they get pushed. So we have a double or a triple heal. We have a draw card or draw 2 cards for a dust, or a range attack and a range attack and draw for a dust. I think we're going to take the draw just to get some card draw on the deck. Holy dust. Yeah, we need that. So we will definitely be getting that with the Bloodsucker once he's dead. So that was all of my cards. 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to draw a new card here. And we have another Cave Troll. Okay. So we got both of our fancy cards this time. So we could definitely take that guy out with a ranged attack. We can double up. That one lets you search your card or your deck for a card. And then we do have the draw. So let's go ahead and spend a dust. I'm going to double draw, because just more cards is better. And we have a lot of ranged. Trying to think of the best way to avoid damage here. So I could split things up. So I will do a ranged attack to kill this guy. He gives me a dust, and I get to get an item card. So she gets the dust again. We are going to grab that guy for sure. Whoa, that's really good. Okay. So that card is used. That card is used. Oh, you can't really see the cards I'm playing too much. I just noticed when I zoomed in, it kind of cut it off. So, okay, we'll just kind of pop those up as we use them. Let's see. All right, so we gotta start doing the objective here. I could get rid of one of these guys. So we will go ahead and move 1. And then I'm just going to double range attack with this guy to hit him for 2 for free. And we do have... I'm going to also spend this to get my Knight a dust, so he can get his water bucket flipped here in a second. And then we have a sword and shield. I guess I could have used one of these first. Okay, so she's probably not going to spend her dust by the time she gets back to that location. So I am going to, for the interest of safety, let's spend 3 dust on her to get a 3 dust trap, and we're going to put that there just to do 3 damage to something if it gets too far. Protect ourselves a little bit. I wish I had another double ranged. And then I kind of have these. I'm not sure what to do with them. Let's scoot him over 1 with this, and then we'll save the sword and the shield, or rather waste it. So that's it for that turn. Draw 1. Two, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll flip this guy over. Okay, so we got an event. Cave in. Roll the die, place the cave in token at the indicated number on the space between the hero path and the monster passage. Oh. Heroes cannot attack a monster on that space. Spend swords to remove the cave in. That is cool. Okay, so we're gonna roll die to see where it goes, and then I'll show you what that looks like. So it's just gonna have. Oh, I forgot about our skill bar. Okay, so number 3. So that'll go there. So there's a cave in there blocking our sight of the monster, but we can spend 3 swords to get rid of it, but it's also where the fire is, so that's not great. But we did not have a new monster come out, which is kind of nice. We are going to use that right off the bat to spend. We're going to spend 1 dust, which then gives us 4 dust. Actually, we could have just did the top part and just gotten 2. It makes no difference. Ooh, do we want to do that on him, or do we do that on her? Okay, so we're going to use double movement to flip our bucket on our knight. So we got some water going now. We will use... Oh yeah, he would not be able to use that one. We'll do a ranged attack on the cave troll. He's at 3. And we do have an additional movement here. I don't want to move in the fire and end my turn though. You also can trade buckets. So if you're ever in the same spot as another player, you can trade it with them if they have an empty one and if they're closer to the location, and then on their turn they can put it out. So that is the thing. We do have a movement. I guess we can move there and prepare for what's coming up next. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm so focused on keeping these monsters under control that this objective is not moving very fast. Okay, so we got another bloodsucker. Oh. Let's see what we have going on here. So I'll try to lay these out here, and then we can just slide it up as we need to. Okay. We do not draw any ranged attacks. I could block. I do have 2 movement though. Actually, I think this works like this. Okay, so we're going to use a movement. We're going to use his water bucket. Get rid of one of the fire tokens. And then we will use the second movement to get him out of there. So I want to make sure he does not take burn damage. We are going to use the double sword on the bloodsucker. We're going to get hit for 2, so we're going to use both these shields here to block that damage. So both of these guys are 1 HP. Unfortunately, if we get another monster, the cave troll is going to go in an area where he cannot be attacked from that position. So hopefully we get a ranged attack here and nothing crazy happens. Okay, so we got 3 cards there. Gonna shuffle up, and then we'll draw that top card. Four, 5. What did we get? Oh, we got another bloodsucker. So these guys are gonna shift over. Okay, so let me make sure I read that right. Heroes cannot attack a monster on that space. Oh, so I can't even range attack it. It's just completely blocked. Yeah, the monsties are pouring in. Oh, so I can't even finish that off now until it moves out of there, or I get rid of that marker. Okay, so I'm going to use the dust on the knight for this card, so we can draw 2. Okay, we're going to do a magic missile to kill this bloodsucker before that gets out of control, and he lets us get an item card. This bow lets us do a range of 1 to 3 for a damage, which is pretty sick. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for that. Heals seem to have not been an issue so far. Ooh, we got 2 of those now. Little crossbows on the hand. Alright. So we do have movement. We only have 2. So we're going to use both these movement cards so he can flip his water bucket again. And then, ooh, do we want to do that? Kind of leaves us in an awkward position. Now, range attack at range 1. I'm guessing that means you cannot melee. Oof. Actually, you know what? So what we're going to do, instead of doing double movement for that, we're going to use 1 movement to move him back here. We're going to use his 3 dust to flip his bucket over. And then we will use the other movement to move the sorceress over. And then we're going to double range attack the bloodsucker so we avoid any damage getting taken. We will get a dust on, let's do the sorceress for now, and then we're going to be wasting the sword / shield. I got nothing to hit. We do need to get rid of that cave-in though, because that is dangerous. 2, 3, throw back up to 5. Oh, not a card at the bottom of the stack there. Okay, we got another event. Threat. Roll the die and place a threat token next to the indicated space of the monster passage. Okay. Spot 4. It is the one that allows them to negate 1 damage. So spot 4 is going to block 1 damage from melee. Yikes. I wonder if the threat tokens I'm supposed to have flipped over and it's supposed to be random. It just says place a threat token. It does have a picture of the bent sword or the broken sword, so I'm going to assume it's that for now. Okay. Let's see. We did get our fancy new bow. We can get a lot of dust here as well. So spend 1, gain 4. So he doesn't have it, so she will spend a dust and then she would gain 4. So that would put her to full. We'll do that. That guy only has 1 health, so we're just going to do the normal range of 1 to 3 range attack, and that'll kill the bloodsucker. And I believe if I run out of this deck, I also lose, so it's a bit of a timer as well. So you can't just like drag it out infinitely, which is probably a good idea. Okay, so we actually do have a pretty good turn here. So killing that guy let us get another loot card. This allows us to do a ranged attack and draw. So we'll snag that. Ooh, another one of the dust loading cards. Okay, so we have triple movement here, which is what I'm going to use on these cards. So we're going to do triple movement. So we're going to do 2. He's going to spend his water bucket to get rid of another fire. And the last one, the third movement, we're going to use just to get out of there. And I think we're chilling. I could do the trap again, and I could go crazy and just spend all 5, but I think we're going to hold off for now on that. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I like how all the chapters have like very unique objectives. From like the little bit that I saw that's in each of the boxes, there's a lot of little additional items that get added. So I could see this being very, very different. Okay, so we're at 5 now. And we're going to draw this guy. Oh god. We got a Dark Dust. He attacks back for 1. He has 4 HP. He gives you a dust and an item card if he is defeated. So that is pretty good. Okay, so we are going to spend... Man, I am so far away on this character, I can't get to the things. So the locations are also randomly placed. I shuffled and then flipped them out. So the fact that both of the water bucket acquiring things are on the same side of the board kind of stinks. But you know, we work with what we got. So we're going to spend a dust here so we can draw 2. Yay. So what I'll do is I'll just start putting these cards off to the side so I can kind of show this a little bit. Okay, and then we have 2 ranged attack unless we buff one of them. I wonder if cards... I think all cards go to discard at the end of your turn, which is an important distinction. So... Oof, we only have 2 swords. I was going to actually try to get rid of that cave-in as well. We could use... Okay, so we're going to use our 2 movement on these guys to flip over his water bucket again. He's just the water bucket guy. Oh, and we do have... I gotta remember we have all these special effects up here. So his range attack would not be helpful. He could get some dust, which is not essential at the moment. So our movement is used up. He's not going to be able to get rid of a fire this turn. But I'm going to use 2 dust to double power these cards. So I get to do 3 range attacks. 2 of them are a range of 1 to 3, but the monster is... Okay, so I'm sorry, it's going to be 2, yeah, just 3. But unfortunately, there's only 1 monster I can hit here. So I'm just going to hit him with all 3 of those, and I also get to draw a card. So if we can get 1 more range attack, we can just knock this guy out right away. And we do not. That is unfortunate. And we used all our movement, so we can't use the triple sword that we now have to get rid of the cave-in. Unfortunate. So we are going to get a dust on our sorceress with our last card here. We were not able to do what I was hoping to do. Maybe I should go over and acquire one of these fairies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we flip. Oh, we got the fire elemental. So that's going to shift over. He has 7 health. And, oh god. We got some new stuff. When a hero attacks this monster, that hero loses 1 toughness. There is no way to cancel this. So it has nothing to do with swords. So if you hit him, he hits you back. The teeth marks is only, he attacks you back if you attack with a sword. So that one we can still avoid. And then his effect, I believe it shows that in chapter 1. Yeah, so if you defeat him, you get to remove a fire token. So that goes to the next page. Yeah, fire elemental. The chapter's main enemy. When you kill a fire elemental, you can remove 1 fire token from a selected location. Nice. Okay. So he's tough, but he lets you just remove 1 anywhere on the board, which is super, super dope. Oh god. But if he gets to that cave-in position, it's going to be bad. Okay, so we can get a shit ton of dust here now. We do have enough movement to go put out a fire if we wanted to do that. He does not have a dust, and I don't have enough swords to get rid of that. Okay, so I can kill that guy. And the question is do I shield or do I use the movement to get rid of a fire token here? This doesn't increase the amount of ranged attacks we have if I dust it. It just only increases melee, but we only need 1 melee attack to kill that. I actually don't know if that redemption works on that current scene because I don't think I have it added. If you want your 100 points back. Wait, I think I can just copy it. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. I don't know what this is. It's showing a whole lot of nothing. I think it's this? Triggerify? If I'm not mistaken. I have so many random, let's see. Paste. Kind of shift that over. How do I do? I know there's a way for me to dish out the points again, but go ahead and try a small one. And I can give the points back if it doesn't work. Well, the hydrate one doesn't actually show anything. The hydrate one is just telling me to hydrate. Okay. Oh. Let's see. Okay. So, we are going to double range attack the fire elemental, but I do lose a health because there's no way to block that. We're going to use the sword on the dark dust. Did that work? Oh, it did. Nice. We're going to use the sword on the dark dust, and then we are going to shield that damage. So he is dead. And he gives us a dust and an item card. And we will take the Omega Dust card. We're going to use this dust on our knight. Then we are going to spend 1 dust on this, so we gain 4. So he is fully stacked now. And then we're going to heal our sorceress. So that was pretty good. Let's see. He cannot do anything super useful there. He does have heals though. The coffee this morning, the coffee was amazing. Thank you very much. That was exactly what I needed. That Wawa coffee just hits a little diffy. Oh, we got 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let's go over and flip this. Oh, we got an event. Each hero moves 1 space farther from the castle. Each hero that cannot move loses 1 toughness. Okay, so we are moving away from the castle. I did not end my turn there, so I don't take that damage. But this actually works out. That's actually helpful to me, to be honest. Let's see. So, so we're going to use our water bucket here. We are down to 4 right now. Doing pretty good. I don't really want to melee him. And I don't have enough swords. So this was kind of awkward. Because I accidentally used hazelnut? Really? I literally did not notice. That is like super weird. I didn't taste the difference. We could use our fairy to acquire a card. Yeah, I had no idea. Okay, so she has a lot of dust. That would just give me more dust. That is not super useful. But I could spend 3 dust to draw a card. So I'm going to spend 3 dust to draw. Cool. I will spend 1 dust to double draw. Okay, now I'm getting the crazy combos going on here. We have a lot of movement now. So I'm going to spend 1 movement to move 1 space away. I'm going to spend 1 dust to get 4 dust. So we're just going to add 3 here. Instead of removing and then adding 4. Yeah, like there's a little bit of... And you... Oh, I gotta refill this. You get cards... Like every time you like defeat a monster, you get something that's like impactful. So it doesn't feel like a super long dragged out. And all the cards that are coming out are extremely powerful. Like the triple heal or double heal wasn't necessary right now, but I could see that being a card that later on would be extremely useful. So we got a ranged here. We are going to use a dust so we can draw. Oh, heck yeah. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 ranged. And then we're going to do that. So we're going to do 4 ranged on the fire elemental. So he has 1 health. I guarantee take damage from him. So we lose a health token there. That's used. That's used. But we have a heal potion. So we're going to go ahead and heal that back. And now we can acquire a dust, which is probably what we're going to do here. We'll do that on the sorceress, because why not? You know what? Let's not do that. We are going to use our fairy, which lets us search our deck or discard for a card. We're going to search our deck. We're going to get the double sword, and instead of dusting, we're going to use the double with the single sword, which is going to allow us to get rid of this stupid cave-in. Then we have to shuffle our deck here. Builders, it's such a slow build. Yeah, it does feel like it picks up rather quick. Now the only downside is, from what I was reading, there's no new cards that get added to this. And if you play this in like a campaign style, you get to pick one of the cards that you acquired throughout the game and keep it in your deck for the next chapter. But you only keep 1 card between every chapter. So you don't gain another one. You just start with your base deck, and then you get 1 additional strong card. The cards feel really good, and the objectives are really cool. But there's definitely like there's a limit to the amount of playthroughs that you're going to play without feeling a little bit of repetitiveness. Where like something that's obviously like a bigger style campaign game like Oathsworn or Kinfire, you have way more cards that are going to be coming out throughout the game that are going to be changing up your play style and your deck quite a bit, or Too Many Bones where you can go entirely different routes. I mean, these skill things at the top of your character board are interchangeable, so like this just pops off, and there's a lot of different ones in there, so that kind of changes it a little bit. And the characters have their own starting cards. This guy can only have 1 fairy, which I just noticed now, while this character can have 3. So I feel like the focus is less the deck building and more the objective. Like, deck building is like secondary to trying to complete whatever the puzzle is for that chapter. It works, it's very impactful, and it's very simple. But it's not like the core aspect of the game. It's not like Harry Potter, Hogwarts Battle. Like, that feels like you're creating like these really, really cool custom decks every time we play, and they can be pretty different because new cards are added every time we go to a new scenario. But this feels like eventually I'm gonna see everything, and it's not gonna be. They're all going to be very impactful, but it's not going to be like that exciting, like, ooh, what's this new build I'm going to do this time? If that makes sense. What is that icon? 2020 Wish. Okay. We're going to use our last card to move. This is how many cards we drew this turn, by the way. That was pretty crazy. So we're going to move him out of there so he does not take burn damage. It kind of looks like food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we almost went through our whole deck. We're gonna go ahead and flip over this. Okay, we got Reaver. Put a Reaver on the monster closest to the castle. If no monster, then on space 6. Okay. So now we have these rats. Rat gang. on the monster. So it stands on top of that. So I'm guessing you have to kill the Reaver or this rat before you can hit the monster. I like how this cave troll is just not allowed to die. Like, we just keep drawing more things to protect it, which is kind of hilarious. Where is... Okay, Reaver. Place one Reaver standing on the monster card close to the castle. To attack a monster with a Reaver, you must first defeat the Reaver with a separate attack. Yep. Okay, so they have 1 health. They're just kind of like annoying meat shields. But yeah, they kind of just block. They block the stupid cave troll. All right. Now we need to start cooking here. So we do have some. Let's see what we got here. We have a healthy amount of range attacks we can do. So he's in a position now where if he had double movement, he could fill his bucket. But we do not. So we're going to go ahead and move here. He's going to... Oof. How do I want to do this? Yeah, we can do that. He's going to move there. And then he's going to spend triple dust in order to flip his bucket over. And then we're going to use this guy in order to get another dust back on him. Then we're going to spend that dust in order to get 4 dust. So we're going to pull 3 down, keep that one there. So he is full now. And we are going to spend a dust to do a double ranged attack. And we are going to kill the Reaver, so the rat's gone. And we're going to do the final point of damage on the Fire Elemental, because screw him, which lets us get rid of a fire token. So we are down to 3 fire tokens. No fire has spread. We are cruising right now. So that's gone. And then we have a sword/shield, which is useless. We could use the Master of Traps, but I think we're okay. I don't think we have much to worry about right now. I do like, I really want to play this co-op because I feel extremely powerful being able to draw a hand of 5 and play 2 characters in 2 different locations. Like, I know I can only pick, like, I can only use the card on one guy, so it's not as good, I guess, or as possibly strong as using all 5 on one character. But having that flexibility of having characters kind of like spread out, it makes me feel very strong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I guess next time I'll play on hard mode is what I'm saying. Just pump it up, you know. Alright, let's see what we got here. Another event. Mud. Roll the die. Put the mud token permanently on the numbered space of the hero path entered. Or on the hero path entering the mud space. Cost an extra movement. That is terrible. So if that would have came out sooner, that would have made this entirely different. Put the mud token permanently. Oh god. Okay, space 1. That's not the worst, I guess. Bro. That's trash. Okay. Let's see what we got. So we still got that cave troll just hanging out, doing his thing. I have so many attacks and nothing to use them on right now. So we're going to do our first ranged attack. Man, we need movement. That's what's killing me right now. We could draw. Yeah, so we'll spend a dust here. We're going to do ranged attack draw. Okay, we did get another movement. So we're going to use that range attack to kill this guy. Oh, when I hit that fire ellie and I finished him off. No, I did heal the damage I took, I believe. Okay, so I can either get an item card or 2 fairies. Yeah, let's go with item. This card has movement options, so I like it. Ooh, another bomb. Okay, so that's used. You know what? I don't even care if I take damage. I'm yoked. So, let's see. We're going to do 2 movement. We're going to use our water bucket. Get rid of a fire token. Okay. And then we have a whole lot of attack and nothing to spend it on. We are going to use a dust on that to get 4 dusts. So we are at 4 now. And the rest of the cards kind of go to waste here. He is going to take a point of damage, but he is beefy, so we're good. 4, 5. We're just going to be a little greedy here and just try to put this thing out ASAP. Look at that. We got 2 heals back. We're chilling. Okay, so let's see what the new card is. Fire. Roll the die. Put a fire on the roll. Bro. I just had to say something. Hey! It put the fire on my location. So that's good. Except I don't have a bucket to wipe it out. Okay, we do have a good amount of movement here, though. See, but now it takes 2 movement to go that way. So I can't really move that character. Okay, it's getting a little chaotic. I feel like I may have lucked out on not getting some of these events. Now it's starting to slap me in the face a little bit. Okay, so we will spend a movement here. We will... Yikes. I can spend 2 movement to get a bucket, but then I won't have any more movement to go back. Yep. Yeah, so we're going to do that. We're going to use 2 movement to refill his bucket. We are going to use that to acquire a dust. We will use the potion to heal him. And then we have nothing to attack. So he has a bucket ready to go. She's going to take a point of damage because she is stuck. Man, if that stuff would have came out earlier, this would have been so much harder. Okay, we got another Reaver. So that's going to go on space 6 because we don't have any monsters out right now. So that's good. Alright. We are severely lacking in movement. And I don't like it. We also got a lot of monsters early, which allowed us to get more items. Maybe things just like panned out in my favor. It's kind of hard to tell. So, we will spend a dust so we can draw 2. There's 1. Oh, we'll leave that out. And then 2. We are going to spend a movement there. He will use his water bucket. We're down to 2 fire tokens, so that's good. Nothing to attack, so that's kind of wasted. We will move again so we get him out. We have so much dust and nothing to do. You can also discard 3 cards to do a movement sword. I forgot about that. So in a scenario where I didn't get a movement but had a lot of cards, I totally could have did something else. So there is kind of like a, oh crap, I just have a bunch of dead cards. Oh, cat outside? Yeah, we'll just get a dust. Max that out. So we're actually gonna use this, which would give us 2 dust, which is kind of wasted here. But since we're nearing the end of the game, I'm gonna go over to the second notch, and I'm gonna use my triple movement. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna spend 3 dust in order to also flip her bucket. So we're in a position to possibly end the game here, and I'm out of the fire, so that's fun. I did not have any ranged attacks, so I can't take care of that Reaver. But he's not harming anybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and end this. Hey, another roll the die to put the fire out. I swear I shuffled this. Alright, oh my god. So now we have 2 fires on space too. Oh boy. Not a lot of movement. Tons of ranged attacks though. So we'll go ahead and do a ranged attack, kill the Reaver, because why not? We have a movement, so we'll move him over. Wait, did I not fill his bucket? Oh no. Okay, so we're gonna move him over to the right. With that, unfortunately, use 3 dust to flip his bucket. Oof. And then I'm going to spend a dust on this, which would do a range attack, but I'm also going to draw a card. Okay, we got another movement or dust. I'm going to move her over 1. And I'm going to spend a dust to get 4 dust on the sorceress. And then I can't do anything with that. 1, 2, 3, 4. This fire is really going to drag this out now. So now we need 1 more bucket. 5. And we got a cave troll. Alright. Oof. Man, movement is very limiting here. It's kind of the thing slowing me down. So we will move her over, use her bucket. That fire's gone. Oh my god, every time I was removing fire from this card, I'm supposed to get a fairy token or an item card. I didn't do that this entire time. Maybe the first time. So there was 7 fires on this card. I should have had like at least 5 or 6 more fairies or item cards. Yikes. Well, we're not going to retcon it now because that is way too much. But we will take an item card this time. Oh, that's a new icon. Oh my god. Okay, so that was that movement. We might as well dust. We'll dust on him. We'll dust again. Nothing to attack. We do have another movement though. Oh wait, look, see, I'm messing all this up. I'm actually making it harder on myself. So we will lose 1 dust. We could lose both dusts. Keep the movement. So we're gonna move him over 1. with that second movement, and then we're going to discard, instead of getting dust, these 3 cards in order to move in 1 more space, and then we're going to trade water. I guess that doesn't really make a difference. I can choose if I want to do that next time. So if I discard 3, wait, he was here, right? So I moved, she moved 1, he moved, and then I discarded 3 to move again. And then I can trade water if I want, but there's no real point. Love you too, babe. I'm about to win this game in your honor. Alright. What is this? Okay, we got another Reaver. Rat on the Cave Troll. Holy dust. So much dust, nothing to spend it on. So, we will spend a dust to get 4 dust. That one is gone. Yep, that's what this is. And then we do have a movement. Man, this movement is pitiful. So we will move him over. He will use his bucket. We are at 1 fire. Empty your bucket here to remove 1 fire token. Yeah, so it's only when you remove fire from here. So I should have gotten a lot of stuff. That's alright. We'll survive. This is the second dust card, so I will do that just to max out her dust. Actually, you know what? Let me do that in a different order. I'll hold on to that. I'm going to spend 2 dust, which would have been that, in order to do 2 range attacks and draw. And I'm going to do it from... Ooh. Wait a second. So I will do 2 from him, because he's closer. So I can do 2 range attacks, kill the Reaver, damage the Cave Troll, draw 2 cards. Okay. Then we'll spend 1 of these to draw 2 cards. Lots of range attacks. Not what I really need right now. So these top ones are the ones I used. So we do have 2 movement. I don't think there's a way for me to get a water bucket that quick. So we're going to use both the movement here to go over there. Then we will use our dust, which would remove 1 to gain 4. So we're at full. Then we're going to use 3 dust to flip over her water bucket. Then we will spend 1 dust on him to do 2 ranged attacks. So we hit the Cave Troll for 2 damage. He's at 1 health. And then we cannot attack anything at this point, or shield. And that's not enough cards to discard to do something else. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4, 5. Let's see what this new card is. Okay, the lights are going out. Roll the die and place the darkness token on the indicated chapter location. Its action cannot be used. Spend 3 dust to remove the darkness token. Spot number 2. Wait. So it blocks the bottom part, but I can still get rid of the fire. I just can't do the action on that card. Yeah. Its action for that chapter location cannot be used. Okay, I can still remove the fire. We're chilling. Okay. Okay. We got some movement this time. And that's all we care about. So, we got 1, 2, 3 movement. 1, 2, 3. Flip over the bucket. Put out the fire. And that is game. Oh, nice. Perfect. I will start that then. So yeah, that was the end of chapter 1. I could probably... We'll just leave it like that for now. So yeah, chapter 1, normal mode of Dungeon Legends solo. Like I said, I'm sure I may have messed some things up. I definitely messed up things not in my favor. I missed out on a lot of item cards and a lot of fairies that I could have acquired throughout that. I feel like even hard mode, which is just adding an extra fire token, would not have made that dramatically more difficult. It was not... I feel like playing solo is extremely powerful. And I think it's the fact that you have 2 sets of dust that you're working with, which I think is like the big key component here. Because having 2 guys separated but only being able to use so many cards, you know, on each character does kind of help split it up a little bit. But anytime I had a card that had a dust effect, if one character had it versus another, like, I could almost always get some use out of it. I didn't use any of his skills on his skill bar, and I wasted one of hers and just did the triple movement for the sake of getting that going. Ranged attacks are very, very powerful. The fact that most of the monsters counter when you attack with melee, and I was able to just do a lot of range attacks to avoid that altogether, seemed very powerful as well. It is chapter 1, so I don't know if these get... I believe the chapters do have, like, difficulties listed. Yeah, so chapter 1 is difficulty 2 of 5. So it's not, you know, it's not necessarily the hardest. Chapter 2 is 2 of 5 as well. Whole lot of things going on there. 3 is 3 of 5. Ooh, there's like a gate. That's pretty cool. 4 is 4 of 5. Then I'm going to guess 5 is going to be the hardest one, which makes sense. The cool thing is it does say you don't have to go in order if you're not trying to do a campaign style thing. You can skip to any chapter, acquire 1 advanced item, add it to your deck, and then just start with that, which is all you really get to carry on if you're doing campaign mode. So it's really not any different unless you're trying to do like 1 straight through run and seeing if you can kind of just beat it on your own. But yeah, the fact that 1 card comes out every turn in co-op, like, your character can only do so much. So if I had a character and I got no movement, like, I didn't have characters spread out, and I had no movement and monsters were over there, that would be a very difficult turn. I would probably waste a lot of cards just to do a movement. And I wouldn't be able to do a whole lot outside of, like, I would be focused on more location type actions. But like I said, like, having control of 2 guys and going, oh, well, this one's near them, so I'm just going to do all my range attacks or melee attacks over here. This character is going to do the objectives. Now, this very much so could have just been a game of circumstance, because these locations are randomly shuffled and pulled out. So this could have been on the far left, and then these 2 could have been on the far right. I also could have had, like, the Fairy Sanctuary or Master of Traps further away. Like, there's a lot of different things that could have randomized this. And then also the card draws from the deck. I feel like a lot of the events, like, that added the permanent slow, that added the different threat tokens, and even just started spreading fire, that would have been a lot more chaotic if that came out sooner. where instead I kind of had like a lot of monsters coming out, and I just had a character hyper focus on just, you know, almost killing them as they spawned. Thanks, babe. Thank you. I'm a natural at this. Is there a part of that as well? I have no idea, but I don't know. It felt very easy. It is the first chapter. It is a difficulty 2 of 5. I will say, there only being 5 chapters, if the 2 of 5s are about this difficulty range, then it's going to feel like I'm not going to want to really play these after I do them one time. I'm probably going to stick to the higher difficulty ones, which limits replayability a bit. But I will leave it up to when we do co-op and see how that feels, where you only have control over one character and there's a bit more restriction there. Because I really wanted to get to a point where this monster track, we did have it once, but I wanted this to get to like 4 or 5 and have like my traps be useful and like have like a little bit of a panic. But I always felt like I was just obliterating almost anything that came out. So it never felt too nerve-wracking. Even when there was 3, I wasn't even worried. This guy was just blocked by a cave-in, and everything had like 1 health. So it didn't feel, I don't know, it just didn't feel like, I didn't have like anxiety at any point. I didn't have like that high tension, like, oh my gosh, I need to figure out exactly what I'm going to do perfectly. I almost felt like I had too much I could do in a turn. And it was just like, okay, well, I have a bunch of dead cards because I killed everything, nothing's on the board, and now I'm just going back and forth, putting out fires. So that's my kind of opinion on Chapter 1, at least. I do really want to play co-op, so hopefully we get a chance to do that this week, babe. You mean like Kinfire Delve? Yeah, like, that's a good comparison. Like, very different games in terms of the way they play out. Like I said, I do feel like the puzzle is the emphasis on this, but Kinfire Delve, I have never played that game. We've played at least 6 times. We've played every single edition once, a couple of them multiple. So we played at least 6. I played 1 time with Brandon. All 7 games of that, it has come down to the wire. And we've won every time, but it is absolutely insane how that game gets to that point every single time I have played it. Like, that is... What game does that? So that game is just on a different level. But yeah. I'm going to go ahead and organize this, put this game away. That is going to be it for the stream tonight. I am going to post this playthrough on our YouTube channel, so if anybody missed it or wants to rewatch to see kind of a general idea of how the game plays and what that Chapter 1 playthrough looks like, I think that'll kind of be the idea going forward. Eventually we're going to be streaming on YouTube, and when we're doing that, you know, I'm just going to upload those VODs, because I know people like to have these kind of videos in the background and see how the games are played, get an idea to see if it's something that they would enjoy and is up their alley. So that is where this video will be afterwards. Let's see. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and that's going to be it for tonight. Let's see, you said, it feels perfectly curated. I will never stop speaking praises for it. It really does. And it baffles me how that game came out after Kinfire Chronicles, which I praise for like the simplicity of getting it out and the combat and how easy it is to understand and teach. And then they just released Delve afterwards, kind of just like out of nowhere. And for me, it made the combat feel a lot more rewarding and a lot more difficult to make those decisions when it comes to emptying your hand, where Chronicles, you kind of want to blow through your hand a little bit faster because you don't really have those negatives. Delve kind of removed that and changed it so there was some pressure to running out of cards too quick. And it also removed my biggest negative of Chronicles, Kinfire Chronicles, is that randomness of character turn can sometimes play out very poorly, and I'm not a huge fan of that. Like, fate tokens are there, but sometimes you just don't have enough for like how bad the situation can be. Where Delve feels like you have the opportunity to respond to things that are going on, and it can get so crazy so fast, but then you can also have those moments where you feel very, very powerful. So that game is 10 out of 10. Like, that would be a fun game to stream and have a playthrough, because like I said, we have never had a game where it wasn't down to the last turn. The chits could just be drawn. Wait, hold on. The chits could just be downright cruel some playthroughs. Yeah, cruel, and just, it's just not, like, if you're the unlucky one who doesn't get their chit drawn for a long time, it's boring. Like, if you're that player, having to be the person that's just boosting, like, the boost actions, the boost system is cool because it allows you to engage on other players' turns, but the boost actions are not that exciting. Like, it's usually plus a couple points of damage, or an extra movement, or blocking a damage or something. While those things are impactful, they're not exciting. Like, going, ooh, I'm gonna increase your damage 1 is just like not that appealing. Where it could be, I feel like there's room for growth there, where it could be a lot more interesting, with a lot more interesting options for what a player can do. But yeah, if you're the player that's just kind of boosting, and in Chronicles there's boost cards and action cards, so you can't even like go through your hand if you're just playing off of other people's turns. So you can just be in this weird situation where you're just not really playing the game. And 20 minutes went by and Aiden didn't even get a chance to go. And anytime we had that random chit where we could choose, we just picked him, not for the sake of like, oh, this is probably the best option, but like, dude, you should, like, we want you to play the game. so we'll let you go. So yeah, Chronicles is a superb game, but the system does have its flaws, and I think Delve showed that they could figure out ways to work around it, and I hope they do something. Like, I know they're doing a new Kickstarter for Chronicles again, and I don't think they are, but it would be so cool if they just added updated rules that changed a lot of those flaws in that system, or just like release like a mini expansion that changed some of those things, because I love the game, but those moments where those things do happen, it just feels bad. And I can imagine if I was ever like, hey, come play this game for the first time, and that happens to like a new player, they're gonna be like, this game's stupid, which sucks because it's a great game. But yes, that's gonna be it for tonight. I think my general goal, so I don't overdo it, is I'm gonna try to do a board game related stream once or twice a week. Hopefully we can get some. Thank you, Cranby, for the hydrates. Hopefully we can get some board game streams with me and Amber, so you got both sides of the Twin Flame Adventurers on stream, and you can see some of the co-op goodness that we do, or some of the competitive games that we play. We have tons and tons of games, lots of stuff to get through, so this kind of gives me an excuse to force myself to get some games on the table, and hopefully we can get this out and do a co-op playthrough. So that's going to be it for me, guys. I don't have a cool way of exiting because I awkwardly have to stand up to change the scene. Maybe I get my stream deck going and I can have that on the desk or something, so I can be really professional and cool. No. We're done. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. But yeah, I'm gonna work on the camera clarity. I want to see if I can get it to be a little bit better on the table, so you guys can see things a little bit more. But yeah, That's it for me.